that's why I said we needed time to do this, was because, like, I do feel like we're going to take many takes. So this is take 3 of the presentation podcast, because I am like, I want to make this casual, and I want to make this natural, but I did, like, write out a prompt, and I did start with the fact that communication is manners. And that is also, I say this...
I do like that. I feel like that's very relatable.
Bro, honestly, whenever I wrote that, I was thinking about how people just, like, are unaware of their surroundings whenever you're in the hallway.
Yeah.
Like, just say, excuse me,
right?
Please, and thank you, or something. You know what I mean? Like, I held the door open for all those people today at lunch, and not a single one of them said thank you. That's what I thought of. Also, mannerisms. Like, listening portion. I wasn't sure if you meant to include that. Sorry, I'm trying to get the prompt out.
No, you're fine.
I wasn't sure if you were trying to include that whenever you said communication. But,
I honestly don't even remember saying that.
No, I'm talking about teacher.
Gotcha.
So I was trying... I'm trying to cover all grounds, basically. And I wrote it down, like, some things that would be good to talk about. So... how do you define communication?
I think communication is being capable of caring about someone enough in order to explicitly verbalize how you feel with body language, verbalizing it through your words, or just, like, how you view yourself as how you treat other people.
Here we go. I feel like communication is the acknowledgement of, which is extremely important.
Yeah.
Because I think in any relationship, it can be, like, whenever I say, I'm thinking of professional right now, but this mostly is kind of, like, it'd be weird if you did this as an employee, but, like, an employer being like, hey, I recognize your hard work.
Yeah.
That'd be really weird if, like, I went up to my boss and was like, hey, I recognize your hard work. Like,
yeah, I would be so weirded out.
I'd be like, okay, LMAO, are you trying to steal my job?
Right? You want a promotion? Like...
like, here, sit down, take my chair.
Yeah, right.
Go to my house, cook dinner. So I'm going to turn that down, because that is really hot. So, okay, so I asked you how to define communication. Why do you feel like communication is important in any relationship?
I feel like it emphasizes who you are as a person. I feel like
character.
Communication doesn't also just, like, communicate to another person how you are. It, like, really helps you sit back and reflect on, like, the actions you make as a person, and depicted, like, on how they treat you, how worthy they are of that communication. Like, I feel like it's self-beneficial and worldly beneficial, but I feel like it's, like, just an entire growth learning experience to communicate.
I don't know if you've ever heard this, but I think about this occasionally, that, like, there is no such thing as cold. It is the absence of heat.
Yeah.
So...
No, I haven't heard of that.
I feel like that's communication. It is the acknowledgement and how much it shows how much you value something, but it also shows how much you don't value something.
Yeah.
The absence of valuing.
Or just, like, general respect as a whole, I think. Like, to communicate, I feel like you have to respect someone deeply.
I think something that was really big communication-wise with my dad, because that was something that I always struggled with, was being honest. Because Guy would not give me an easy time whenever I was honest, so I would try to, like, buy myself some time or something along those lines. And so, like, one particular time, he made me crack. Like, I was like, hey, because I lied about turning my college application. Because I needed, like, a couple more days to even get to school. It was before the first day of school. I had asked teachers if they would give me a recommendation letter.
Right.
And I had to check with that first. But I was scared to say that because I didn't want him to be like, oh, why didn't you do that sooner? Like, interrogate me or whatever. So, yeah. I had to buy myself some time. And he was like, oh, you want to call Margarita? Which basically, if you call Margarita after they say that, it doesn't count. Margarita is the safe word, which is like, hey, I messed up and I need your help. Because I can't, like, if you get drunk at a party and you need somebody to come pick you up.
Yeah.
I have, call my parents instead of driving myself home. It's that kind of thing. Because he thought that I didn't turn in my application because I didn't have an application fee. Which it was waived actually because I need to get closer. It was waived actually because I submitted my ACT scores as well. Mm-hmm. And, communication, I was like, hey, like, please, I've been doing the right thing. Like, please give me a break. Like, I know I lied. I just needed to buy myself time for honest reasons.
Oh, yeah.
I lied for honesty reasons. And, you know, he's not a bad guy. I just, like, want to put this disclaimer. This is just a story time. He told me to have some confidence. Mm-hmm. While I was, like, fighting my demons, you know what I mean? Right. So I was like, oh, okay. So then I let out, like, everything. And then afterwards, he had to pick me up from work. That was before I got my license. And we went home, and I was like, you don't ever acknowledge the things that I do right. I feel like I'm always trying to make you proud because you always acknowledge the things I do wrong. But you don't tell me you don't tell me that I'm doing good. Oh, yeah. I mean, like, he does now, obviously, because since that conversation, and, like, he has before that, too, but just, like, not really. So I would always feel like I'm, like, doing something wrong, whatever. And, he was like, well, it's because I don't feel like I need to tell you how to do the right thing, how to do the things you are doing right. Yeah. And, like, that's true, but to show that whenever I used to be doing really bad would be helpful sometimes. So that's why I really think about that and what I really think about whenever I think of poor communication. In relationships in general, just some of the general information I have down is like setting boundaries, establishing trust and honesty, representation of character, which I'm really surprised that you brought that up. Yeah. Creates connection, eases tension, and sets the tone of a situation and brings awareness to the status and roles of their relationship and the individuals within. So, like, if something's weird in the relationship, that's what I mean by that. Is like it establishes the role or like the relationship itself. Yeah. And at its worst, how has poor communication affected you?
Ooh, okay. I think at a generalization, just overthinking, and like anything, even just with employees, like if I overthink a situation where they reacted negatively and then they later communicated afterwards, I take it in the moment of what did they say to me when they were upset versus when they're okay and clear-headed and come to me, and I pick out those bad details because, like, I cannot communicate how I feel, and then I sit there, and that's how I think they perceive me.
I'm just like, that's another really BPD thing.
Really?
Girl, like, you're on run. You're on a, whatever, roll. You're on a roll, that's what it is.
There you go. But that's just, like, even in relationships, they'll say one bad thing to me, and I'm like, okay, I'm ending this. I've only been in one relationship, granted, but I'm like, okay, I'm leaving because you said this one bad thing to me and I cannot live with myself if you day-to-day remind me of that. And I feel like communication just pushes and isolates me from people.
Okay, that's not BPD if it's like if that person's like telling you that bad thing about yourself on a day-to-day basis, that's not BPD. That's like, yeah. I wouldn't call that like abuse or anything, but like, why?
Yeah, maybe I worded that wrong, but I meant like they make one mistake and I think about it on a day-to-day basis. Like when I see them,
BPD splitting. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's like long-term splitting, I guess, because BPD splitting is also like snap like that in a moment. Like something happens, you just complete 180. Bro, I think the worst case of that was on my anniversary.
Really?
It was like my 11-month anniversary with my boyfriend. So like we did like every month up to a year, and then we're gonna do like a year and 6 months, or like a year and 3 months, a year and 6, 9, 12, you know, and then 2.5 years, whatever, you know what I mean? So on our 11-month anniversary, we were gonna go get ice cream from a shop, from like an ice cream shop, not like at the store, because that's where we went on our first date.
Cutie.
And no, it wasn't 1 year anniversary of our first date. That's what it was. And I had already gone and I had it in the freezer. Yeah. And he didn't go until like 8-9 o'clock p.m. So I was like really upset about that. And he just like gradually got more and more like, it's fine, like I'll do it. And I just like the more that he'd be like, I'll do it, is the more that I got angry about it. Oh, yeah. And I started, like, bawling. I was home alone, so I was screaming. Yeah. Like, out of anger and, like, I never knew the name for that.
Yeah.
Until now. So that's why with BPD is not wanting a label for everything. And that existential crisis, not knowing who you are, the need to know who you are is BPD. And so, like, that's why I find that really excellent. And when it comes to mental health in relationships, I got a whole, like, separate page for this one.
Oh, gosh.
Is the overall putting like twice as much emphasis on communication. I think that it is 100% true when people say that you need to love yourself before you can truly love somebody else.
Oh yeah.
Because it's not about liking everything about your appearance or even yourself, because you can still love somebody and see their flaws and not particularly like them.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I love all of him, but that just doesn't mean I like whenever he has outbursts sometimes.
There you go. Referring
to my boyfriend, it's been better, but, like, it's one of his mental health struggles.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't particularly like those things. So I think loving yourself is about the way that you treat yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Like, cleaning my car before I went off and did something. Like, I would want somebody to clean my car before I went off and did something. So, don't do it, like, in the sense that, like, oh, yeah, I want somebody to treat me this way. Like, do it because you know what you're worth and you know what you want. More is a better, like, wording of that. Reassurance is really funny.
Funny?
Yeah. Because it almost feels pointless sometimes. And I think a really good question to pose is, how do you show reassurance in a way that'll work? More than just words.
Is that, like, hypothetical? Or are you asking me?
No. Just, like, hypothetical, but, like, it is a real question.
Yeah.
You know, I do wish to know.
Oh, yeah.
Because I wish that I could have my boyfriend do that whenever I needed it, and have me be able to do it whenever he needed it. Patience and understanding.
That was, like, on my expectation list, was patience and understanding.
Mm-hmm. I need a guy to understand the way that my brain works.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of my thing.
Map it out, like, architect type crap.
Yeah, like, I have a really funky brain, man. Like, I've always felt different from... I know this is kind of off the topic of communication, but we're 12 minutes and we got time. So... I have always felt different from everybody else. And not in a good way. Yeah. Not like, oh my God, I'm not like other girls.
Right, I was just thinking that.
It's like, I will never belong anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of feeling. So that really sucks. I was pretty lonely. Because the way that I think is generally unusual, like, in terms of, like, solving something or, like, trying to figure something out, I'm very objective. Like, if you asked for my opinion, or, like, what we were doing with the yearbook photos, that was insanely objective.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't calling her ugly. I'm just saying that the face,
like,
the picture isn't bad. She's not defined by a whole picture. Like, you know, when you take a picture of the sunset and it's like, oh, that's not ugly at all and doesn't really capture the true beauty of it with my own eyes. Maybe a camera works the same way with your face. So, but me being so objective in the way that I think often comes off to people in a really bad way.
Yeah.
My sarcasm, and I'm not trying to be one of those people, but my sarcasm tends to sound very real. Because this one time, Jadeja said that she needed to use the bathroom, and I said it just like this. I was like, well, if you have to pee, then pee, but if you don't, then don't. Like, that sounds like I'm being for real. Like, I'm actually saying that.
I would have cried. I would have been like, oh, no, this girl just said this to me.
like, that's, like, weird. It sounds very, like...
passive. Passionate, maybe.
Like, not sarcastic.
Yeah.
Like, real. But no. So, it's like... My boyfriend's still not there yet, but I really wish that someone, like, to understand my brain, even if they don't say that they don't they understand that they don't, and that they're going to try regardless, you know?
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that you acknowledge in communication, and that it's a very important part of a communication, even though people don't really think about it that much.
Yeah.
And people might even think it's corny. I have something to say real quick. So I just really had to say that. Because I randomly remembered it and I had to say it because I was looking at your camo shirt.
Oh, God.
I'm so sorry.
Love the association. Like the little...
Yeah.
Pick that up from me.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's like, I'll, like, just generally in a conversation, I'll just, like, they'll say something, and then I'll go completely off the rails with it. But, like, it's totally relevant in my mind. Like, they'll just say a word that made me think of something I did once, which made me think of something I'm really interested in or something.
Yeah.
Or I meant to say that the other way around, but it's fine. Emphasis on boundaries. Ooh. Communication is all about the setting of boundaries. And a lot of the time, communication is kind of like the word sentience for me. It is such a broad thing. There is a simple definition, being aware that you exist, and understanding and being and talking to somebody. I guess I don't, like, yeah. Its general definition is conversing with somebody. Okay, so. But then there's, like, such deep aspects of it. Like, setting boundaries.
Oh, that's difficult.
Boy, every relationship will always fail if the guy is not upfront to begin with. I have had way too many relationships where they would be upset about something and they would, like, show it, and then I'd be like, hey, are you okay, do you want to talk about it? And they're like, nah, not really. And then, like, later on I might, like, do something unfortunate because they all, dude, I don't, like, I'm not trying to sound like that guy, but, like, all of my exes have been crazy mentally ill because I used to date alternative women, and that's always a bad thing. Don't ever do that. My one piece of advice: if you want to be happy, don't date an alternative woman. There's something wrong. It's a fact. Even whenever I was an alternative, there was something crazy wrong with me. I mean, like, I wasn't that bad as what I've dated, but, like, that's what I was telling you about earlier, is that, like, it's okay to not put yourself in a situation you don't want to be in. You don't have to be friends with every guy you meet. Yeah. You don't have to hang out with everybody. You don't have to talk to them on a daily basis. You can be friendly in, like, a classroom setting or something like that, but you don't have to be, like, best buddies homies.
There you go.
Ash is another example of that. Where somebody comes from will really say a lot. Yeah. If someone's coming from an unfortunate place, it will make them the best friend you'll ever have, always understanding, not judge you, and will, like, be upfront with you, generally. But somebody else who comes from the same place can be a pathological liar, be into drugs, self-diagnose in the sense that they would also simultaneously convince themselves that they had it. Yeah. So, what's that? Munchausen's? Yeah, that. So, I mean, I'm talking from personal experience, if you can't tell. Don't get me started on the DID guy. Oh, my God. Oh, that was a trip, man. Seriously, if we ever start talking about diagnoses, I'll tell that story. I could tell you, I'm not going to do it on here, because it's just wasting time on something that we're not talking about. Projection and communication. I used to, with thinking differently, people would often say things about me that I knew were, like, not true, but I would still be like, why are they saying these things about me? Which I think is where my BPD comes from. Yeah. Particularly the identity crisis part, is because I would be told I'm an a-hole, apathetic, and just, like, overall, just, like, you know what I mean? So, I wondered, and one time I went to my dad about it, and he told me probably one of the most important things that could have ever, like, made me forgive myself easier. I, like,
briefly remember this story.
Is people who assume that other people are liars themselves. People who assume other people are trustworthy themselves. Because I told somebody something, and they took advantage of it and used it as ammunition against me. That's what the context was at the time. I don't know what specifically, but that's what it was. And I hated that energy. So he told me that, and that made me feel very okay. And I see it in other people all the time. Honestly, like, people, there's so many fake people, and it's such an illness. It's such a plague now, because people are going to be fake, and then they're going to assume that other people are going to be fake, and then that makes them, if they think that person's fake, then they're going to start being fake themselves.
Like, just, like, assuring themselves it's normal.
Yeah, they will think that something is fake when it's really not, because they're fake themselves, so then it just kind of spreads. Yeah. Communication, but in a really bad way. And I think that recognizing projection is a really important thing, and that is also another one of the things that everybody should include in their apologies. Granted, the situation, not in every apology you're going to be projecting, but, like, if you feel like you are, then yeah. Like, in the beginning, I didn't trust that my boyfriend didn't really like me because I would get bored of people after, like, 3 months.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I just don't trust that. And, like, I just get really scared that they're going to mimic my poor behaviors that they can't control.
Yeah.
So that's that number. And that they're going to lie to me about how they feel. Except that just kind of comes from my bad relationships, which made me, like, really scared. I'm just, like, not a confrontation person.
Yeah, no, me neither.
Like, I'll do it if I have to, but I'm not going to, like, pull it out of my butt cheeks.
Or, like, go out of my way, too.
No. Like, if it's that deep, then it'll be that deep, but 9 times out of 10 it's not.
Yeah.
And, like...
Will it matter in 5 years is what I think about, like...
Bruh, when people are, like, they hear someone talk crap this girl, Emily, that I've been telling you about. Yeah. Bruh, she hears somebody talk crap about her, and she... By the way, my talking crap is based on true events of her telling the class that her parents make so much money that she doesn't qualify for scholarships, that she has a $300 hair appointment. I just feel like you don't need to say those things out loud for everybody. It's just one of those things you keep to yourself. Like, you might as well blurt out your paychecks. Come on, guy.
That's a good sense of communication. Well, lack of communication.
And lack of social awareness, actually. We're going back at you.
Which I guess social awareness could be communication as well.
Oh, I did put that on here, actually.
Good.
Because, like...
We could briefly cover that.
Yeah, like, having social awareness leads to good communication.
Oh, yeah.
So, it, like, really double points for both units, honestly.
Right?
Like, not to pat myself on the back here. But, yeah. And she just also was like, but the whole, like, Flag Day thing, I was like, dude, be serious about yourself in this moment right now.
Yeah.
Because, why? I really like her hair. It's very long. Mm-hmm. I miss my long hair.
I like the healthier, short hair.
Oh. Bro, I hate when people, like, I hate fake blondes. I mean, you don't count, though.
Oh, no.
You don't count that because you weren't a brunette.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's different. You had, like, a... What was it, like ginger, strawberry blonde?
Kind of like a strawberry blonde, gingerous.
Yeah, okay, well, you see you got blonde in the name. And your eyebrows are like, if their eyebrows are like dark like... and highly contrasted, hell no. Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry, so the next thing...
It's understandable.
Next thing we should, cover is, how do you feel, what makes you feel like you are good at communication? What do you do that makes you feel like you're good at it?
I used to think I wasn't because I would just react when things got too overwhelming, but now I take a step back and I take time to myself, and oftentimes, even when I'm, like, relationship-wise, I'll be like, hey, like, I have a hard time processing things, so I'm going to do it alone, and the last thing I want to do is be around you. And I always got in my hand to make that, like, a mandatory, situationally, I guess, like, communicated thing. Like, hey, I'm the type of person who I need time alone to process things and then act on them.
I suck at group work for real.
Yeah.
Honestly, when it comes to group work communication, everybody loves me and is irritated with me at the same time. Because I like to do all the work, but they hate the fact that I'm so controlling about it. It's because, like, I need this. Like, I need to do it this way.
Not up to my standards.
You gotta do this little part so I can do this big part. Like, I'm basically doing my friend's whole senior project. Millie's.
Really?
Because, like...
You just gotta cut to it.
I'm not talking crap about her, but she's not the best writer. And I'm not saying that I'm the best, but I know that I'm good at it because of the feedback that I've received since, first grade.
At least you're open to it.
Open to feedback?
Yeah.
It's good feedback. I've always received, like, severe academic recognition for my writing and my reading and my comprehension. So, and that's just because I'm really good at making two things relate. You name two random things, and I'll tell you how to relate to them. Anyways, she's not the best at writing, so I kind of have to, like, do all the work, because I got this vision now, so I have to do it. Mm-hmm. Mostly because she's been asking me questions the whole time. Which, like, you want to talk about communication? Let's talk about communication between students and teachers.
Oof.
Especially at this era.
Oh.
I don't understand why it is so hard to listen sometimes. You can't even catch a few words, man.
The people in our class, especially the young, like, underclassmen. Granted, I know they're young, but
they're 14 and 15, not like 6 and 7.
Yeah, I feel like that really blows my mind. Is how some of these people treat even Miss Green, for a matter. Like,
oh my gosh, Ellie, bruh. She needs to not communicate sometimes. Because, like, why are you so negative? Why do you hate everything? And I'm not
like, thank you for the add-in, but...
Bro, that one time she went on that, like, rant about Joe Biden.
Oh, yeah, I was embarrassed.
That was like, so weird. Why, like, and she just, like... Bro, I will never, the Feel Good Friday, that, like, genuinely made me mad at my core. I wanted to say something, man.
Just feel good on Friday. Don't make other people feel like crap.
I know.
Just to feel good on Friday.
You need this the most out of all of us.
We're sitting
here enjoying a TikTok compilation on puppies, and you have hatred in your heart for that? Bruh. Like, what would you rather do? Like, dissect a puppy? Like, what do you want to do?
See, I feel like that was a whole seeking the attention at school that she doesn't.
Yes, because she talks so loudly about it.
That's good communication too.
I mean, yeah, she has a powerful
like this
voice.
Because blah, blah.
And like, as a teacher, you're probably gonna listen and be like, "That's crazy that these two teenage girls are like talking this way. They're such teenage girls." Let's be honest. We know that teachers talk crap about students.
My mom's a teacher. I would know.
Like, there's a reason why it's a trope of, like, if your older sibling was, like, a terrible student, then they assume you're going to be terrible, too. Because,
yeah, no.
Like, teachers talk. You know what I mean? We're not done. Let's not act like we're better than each other. That's something that really sucks, though. Is that communication is something that people really don't think twice about in a lot of ways. People just, like, say.
I feel like it's thrown around so much in a general sense that it's not intimate anymore. Not intimate in the sense of relationship, but like any genuine understanding or trust.
And it's not just communicating your feelings. It's also communicating your feelings in a normal way. But also withholding some things. If you have BPD, borderline personality disorder, and you feel suicidal after an argument with your favorite person, you don't need to tell them that.
Yeah, no.
Communication is also withholding the things that would make a situation worse. And that's another part of social awareness with communication. And that's also kind of the sentience thing. Everything is like together all at once.
Yeah.
I was low-key having an existential crisis today because I was thinking about how, like, real quick, sorry this is off topic once again, but like, do humans really define nature? Because, like, how do you define nature? Because you can't tell us that civilization and what we got going on around us defies nature. Because that's what they say all the time. Oh, the fact that we can have multiple partners over our lifespan, well, that's, like, not usually something you see. What if that's just our nature?
Yeah.
The term human nature. So for this... everything, society, communication, language, cars, this Bluetooth, if that's our nature, what the else is out there and what the has existed before?
Oh, yeah.
And what will exist after? I do believe in aliens in the sense that they, in the sense that there's life other than humans that is at least as smart as.
Maybe we could communicate with them, you know? That was a pun. It was really bad.
Oh, okay. I see it now. Okay. That was good. Okay, please give her an A for that.
Please. I love dad jokes.
Or give me one. Or both. It doesn't matter. Okay, so we talked about setting boundaries. So yeah, expressing emotions, good and bad. Especially when a boundary is crossed, because I don't think that you should withhold that information.
Yeah.
Because then that's going to build up anger within yourself, and then you're going to release an unfair amount of anger because that person didn't know they were crossing a boundary. Like,
self-sabotaging in a sense, I feel like, with communicating. You know what I'm saying? Like, just holding that within yourself and not being able to communicate is just going to sabotage the majority of intimate, like, any relationship with anyone in your life.
Real quick, back to the questions thing about the listening. It's not that I don't listen, it's that I think of a question and I need to know the answer to it before I do it because I get scared. And I don't want to get anything less than perfect right now because I've maintained these hundreds, and I'm not bragging because I was not always this way.
Yeah.
Like 6 months ago, I was a failure. So I'm really proud of this and I want to keep this going. That's why. Another aspect is the fact that expressing trust and expressing to somebody that you trust them.
Oh yeah, I feel like that's such a hard concept, is trusting in general and being able to communicate that on top of that.
Swapping your choice words. New thing with my boyfriend is that instead of asking me for reassurance when he knows it's like probably unrealistic, like him asking me if I was hanging out with any guys while I'm doing a school project, something that he's going to listen to and something that my mom wants to listen to.
Yeah.
Do you really think I'm going to have another guy present?
Right.
And at what point would I be able to go and do that?
What guy would sit here willingly and actually talk about any
God.
of this,
Like,
right?
at this day and age, who cares? Like, what man cares for a deep conversation?
Yeah.
So, that's not happening. So, like, instead of that, he'll say, I trust you. Because then it's kind of like also speaking it into existence at the same time and manifesting and all of those things.
I feel like that can be taken as such a guilt trip too. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, people will often be like, I trust you nowadays, and it's just like they're putting that guilt and like heaviness on your mind.
Provide an example. Communicate an example.
Like, I feel like people don't like communicate things in the aspect of they want it to sound one way when in reality, because of their interpretation of it, it's not. Like, if I were to be like, okay, go have fun, and be like, I trust you, like, I really emphasize that I really trust you, they could, like, not really genuinely trust you and be trying to weigh that down on your mind into, well, if I do this and that, then I'm 100%, like, in the wrong.
It was my idea because there's been a lack of trust
and
a lot of expression and communication of how much he doesn't trust me, because he will communicate, but and he will listen and he will respond well, but sometimes he doesn't internalize it.
Yeah.
And that is something that he struggles with, but that's not a communication issue at that point because you do as much as you can. But I think that it's one of those things where you swap out some words you want to say instead with better ones.
Yeah.
Like, did you ever get the Power of Yet lesson?
No.
Oh my jizz, bro. I think about that all the time. It was in elementary school. Miss Hunsinger was talking about, like, oh, I can't do this yet. It's basically that. And I low-key do that sometimes still. I feel like one part of communication is that my dad will communicate, like, just general, and then, like, out of nowhere, he's going to communicate the biggest piece of advice that will ever, like, you will always think about for the rest of your life.
Like, universal.
The guy's just going to pop out
Shell-shocking.
the cure of cancer, like, out of nowhere. For me, that was half of life, is just showing up.
Oh, yeah.
I
feel like that is so important.
And that's like when your family goes out to dinner and you have the choice to stay or go, and you choose to go. I did that once. It was actually the time.
It's giving, like, FOMO. Fear of missing out. FOMO.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
Really?
No.
Oh my god.
I do have a fear of missing out, and that's why I started sitting with y'all. It's that half of life is just showing up. I think it is the answer to depression, I'm going to be honest, because I was misdiagnosed.
Yeah.
For bipolar, but they told me I was depressed. I had depression. I mean, really, I was just in a depressive episode. And I know that it makes you not want to do things at all. Mm-hmm. And it makes you hate doing everything that you do. So the best way to combat it is standing up. It is physical therapy. Is whenever you are injured, they keep making you walk and do these exercises until you're good again.
That's like discipline for me.
That is the physical version of mental therapy.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what half of life is just showing up is you keep getting yourself up and keep doing these things that you don't want to do, even if it's showing up in the shower.
Yeah.
Is what you're going to do to combat that. And that is pretty much the cure for depression. And honestly, it works if you want to change. Mm-hmm. Other than that, it won't.
I think that's...
And you just got to care enough.
Yeah.
What about internal communication?
Oof.
I am so curious what it sounds like to not have an internal monologue.
I would like to know as well.
I'm always speaking and thinking. If I am not speaking, then I'm thinking. And I'm probably thinking while speaking. And speaking while thinking.
There you go.
So, I'm constantly aware. At all times. You ask me what color some guy's shirt is over there, I'm going to tell you the ball is orange. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm hyper aware of everything.
I was literally just about to say hyper awareness.
Yes. So, like, social awareness is a hilarious concept to me because I have to be constantly hyper socially aware.
Yeah.
I'm really scared of not being able to read the room. And a lot of times I can't.
I have that problem as well, but, like, internal communication for me has been, like, we are people who interact with each other, and I'm gonna see you daily, but the way I have to remind myself and communicate, like, internally is, like, will this genuinely matter by the time I graduate, by the time you graduate, by the time I'm having kids and you're having kids, is this gonna be, like, reflected upon? Like, for me, I have to internally, like, communicate, like, hey, you're gonna put your head down on your pillow tonight and think about it, but it's not gonna matter within 42 hours.
I 100% agree with that subject. Whenever, that is something that's also helped me with my social anxiety, is that whenever I hear people, like, laughing behind me or around me, I'm always like...
I'm the funniest person in the world. Why wouldn't they laugh?
Even if they're laughing at me, like, they're probably not. But even if they are, they're not going to lay their head on their pillow tonight thinking about how, like...
how funny it was when you tripped.
Yeah, or, like, how goofy my knee bends. Or some weird or picky like that. Because I swear to God, people will come up with anything.
The way you walk, like, apparently. Guess so.
When people really fight their demons to pick things apart, like,
it's about... It's just projection, which was a part of communication.
They are trying so hard to make you feel bad. And it's like... You just kind of look at it and it's like...
Nobody's gonna be
Why do you want someone to feel so bad? That's how I look at that. Yeah. I really wonder why people communicate their mental health struggles in the sense that they are terrible to other people because they actually have like something really deep and unresolved within themselves.
Oh yeah.
I've never understood bullying. As a social concept, I know its definition and I know what it feels like. And I'm not saying that I could be like, oh, I could never treat someone that way. I just mean, like, I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to bully somebody, which probably has led me to bully somebody and not know. Which is why, like, I feel really bad whenever someone asks me, like, oh, should I get this shirt? And I'm like, nah, it's kind of, like,
ugly,
tacky, or, like, it's...
just straight up
basic.
Ugly.
Not basic in the sense that, like, oh, Stanley Cup, but, like, basic in, like, it's too simple of its design for its style.
Or price.
Or, like, I don't really like it. Like, it's too... Not something I wear. Like, everybody's gonna want something, you know?
Yeah.
And then they get, like, sad about it because they actually wanted it and wanted me to say yes. And I'm like, oh, my bad.
That's an internal problem.
It is an internal problem, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I can't read a room, honestly. So, a lot of the times, I think that you and Juju hate me. And think I'm really cringy and weird. Or that I talk too much.
I used to think about that a lot, and I tried different medications, and I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. But for me personally, I honestly just think constantly so much of myself. And I think that's, like, so, like, oh, self-absorbed, blah, blah. But, like, I've worked on building a better relationship with myself to the point where I don't value other people over myself. And that does sound selfish in a sense, but it's, like, I make sure to communicate with myself first than anyone else.
No. I used to let people communicate their issues to me a lot.
Yeah.
And it would really wear me down. And I would become very depressed and drained and burnt out and, like, want to throw middle fingers at everybody, get super irritable, and all of those things. Until I decided that I actually don't need to do that. I don't need to be there for everybody. That's why I really think that some people should keep things to themselves.
Oh, yeah.
There are some blunt truths that are truths. It is okay sometimes to judge somebody based on how they look. And I'm not talking your ethnic features. I mean, if you...
intuitively, maybe?
Like, if you're wearing something really, like, not normal, there's something probably not normal up there. I really think that your mental health... I mean, what you wear is a reflection of your mental health. If someone's dressing bummy, they're probably depressed. Like, that's a sign of depression.
Yeah.
Is dressing, like, real bad. Like, same thing. A sign of, like, not always, but again, a sign of, like, not being there in school and being and, like, throwing your life away like me.
Yeah.
It's gonna give you a more, like, spiritual alternative look. And I think that's true. I mean, I see, like, girls with an evil eye on their necklace dressing in grunge, so that's why I kind of throw in spiritual. And then they will be, like, the worst students you've ever met in your life because they just don't care, and they care more about doing impulsive and terrible things to their lives. And even though I used to kind of be similar, I never was as bad as the people here.
Yeah.
Like, I hear stories, and it's like, that's crazy. How do you just, like, throw such a valuable time away, especially when you're young, because everybody, once they get older, wishes they were young again.
Oh, yeah, no. I feel that way as of now, even at the day and age I am.
And that's another thing with people don't think twice about communication. It goes in one ear and out the other. It's a tale old as time itself. Is that once you get older, you're going to wish you were young again.
Yeah. I used to, like, brush that off my shoulder.
I want to be very grateful when I'm older for working so much. Yeah. I want to kill myself, like, in a way that, like, I'm, like...
Careful, you might get gaggled.
Seriously. Bro, they gaggled, leave me alone.
Oh my god!
Like, bro. Anyways, so by kill myself, I mean, like... like, over the course of time, by working so much.
Yeah.
Like, I want to come home...
Overworking.
Every week in a straitjacket because I work so much. Yes, overworking. I want to be grateful for that when I'm older, and I want to make life easier on myself when I'm older, because unfortunately, it does. No matter how woke you are, you're not going to change the entire structure of society.
No.
And I'm not saying you don't have to try.
It's like such an unreachable expectation to have of yourself.
Yeah, and like, I'm sorry, but like, the world was here first.
Yeah.
It really does not care about you. Honestly, 9 times out of 10 when you step outside the house, people don't care about you. And that is okay, because do you care about 9 out of the 10 people you see walking down the street? Or even the people you work with? Do you care about them that much?
Not really.
Exactly. Nobody cares what happened to you yesterday. You know what I mean? Nobody cares that you have attempted suicide before. Like, if you tell... like somebody, like if you tell a teacher that because you need a break, you try to kill yourself last. Actually, my ex did that. I was like, you didn't tell me anything about the things you were struggling with. And they were like, well, if you really want to know how bad it was, I tried to kill myself. I was like, dude,
thanks for communicating, though.
I'm so serious. I'm not exaggerating. All I did was ask her to put her book bag on her bed, because at least then she wouldn't have to stand up to get it. I'm not making this up. And she withheld the information of, oh yeah, well, I tried to kill myself. Okay, that's another thing about communication. It really, that's what I mean by choice words. It's just like the way you kind of go about things, and like, if you are going to communicate your feelings later, especially if you withhold that information, you 100% have an obligation to not do that.
Yeah.
Like... I can't take it seriously. It's whenever I've got, like, over the past few times that I've gotten in an argument with somebody that I was in a relationship with, and they were like, oh, I'm gonna kill myself. I'm like, dude, you're just too crazy. Like, I want out of this.
Yeah.
That's how my last couple exes were, bruh. Over, like, crazy, like, insignificant junks, too. And so, like, go about things in a normal way. Here's one.
Oh gosh.
Cursing. I know that I do sometimes, and I'll have like little paragraphs where I do it repetitively, but like on a general day-to-day basis, I might say words like jizz.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like crude, but like I'm not foul.
Abrasive even.
I didn't realize this aspect of communication until I was hanging out with my coworker on her break, and we went to Dollar General for a minute to get some drinks. Mm-hmm. And then I like left my stuff on the counter, and she grabbed it for me. And then she was like, "Okay, like sorry, I carried all your you know what I mean? She was like, "Oh yeah, I carried all your shit. Sorry, let me say stuff. Like I carried all your stuff." I was like, I wouldn't have cared, but I appreciate that she corrected herself. Because
I would be hurt if someone was like, I carried all your crap.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't think twice.
I would.
Because it's probably just like, couldn't think of the word at the moment or whatever, just like rolling off the tongue, you know what I mean? But, because like sometimes I'll do that and not like realize it. I mean, I'm not perfect. Mm-mm. I mean,
Nobody is.
My mom's an ER nurse, my dad's a construction worker. I grew up on Family Guy, so it just kind of, it's in my blood.
At least you're funny.
Yeah. But I think it also makes you not funny if you curse too much.
Oh, no, I don't mean that.
100% of the funny comes from the delivery. And the delivery is both your tone, your diction, your syntax, and your tone. Because, shout out to my English teacher, because do you know what a gerund is, or a participle?
No.
That's what I'm saying. I have never had that be taught in any English class ever, even now. That was English 2 honors. A gerund is
I took English 2 honors. I've never heard of that.
A gerund is a noun that's used as a verb, and a participle is a verb that's used as a noun.
Would never have known that.
So, she is, well, let me try to think. I do it a lot. I use it in my writing a lot. And so that's why, Grammarly's oh, this is so weird, but, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Because I like to write poetically. Or, very figuratively in my general writing. I think it's more fun, and it's more oh, this is a motion of the ocean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's really fun. Communication, vocabulary. We're talking objective communication here. Are you good? You're chill?
Mm-hmm.
It's 7:09. Would you
like need to wrap it up then, maybe. I don't want to be home, right at 8, because I feel like my mom would.
Okay, that's fine. All right. Are you good for the remaining to make this an hour?
Yes. Do you care if we take a little break, though?
No. Okay, so what we're going to actually do is that I think that we covered pretty much everything that we possibly could in 46 minutes while also going off track, but I hope that was entertaining. We took the time to, sit down. I paid for gas, okay? That counts. That's a part of the rude work, obviously. So I just feel like we're going to call it off here, and I hope that this was enjoyable. I'm sorry, Jason, I don't have your usual intro and outro because this is also a class assignment, but I also wanted to double this as a podcast for you because I thought that would be really good, especially because this was kind of we had a topic, we had a prompt. But anyways, so it is 7:13 and I have to screen record this and upload this to YouTube.
Funsies.
So honestly, I don't know when I'm gonna screen record it.
Right.
I mean, it's gonna be a while I'm at school.
Yeah.
For sure. Because I don't want to, I gotta be on my phone sometimes, cuh.
Right.
Okay, anyways. That's it. I hope that this gets
I hope this is a good communication on why we deserve an A+.
Yeah, exactly. I can start going into childhood trauma if we need to. I can add, a second part. But,
Right.
If I really need to make you feel bad. Communication. So, I love manipulation. It's my favorite dessert sometimes. Oreo flavor manipulation. Manipulation flavor Oreos. Anyways. Bye!